after, look for soil conditioner. Probably likely to be bark-based, and that will do the job. Now, this is going to take a little while longer to finish the mulching, but there are still lots of little jobs to do around the place, and earlier this morning, Chris and Sarah had a look round to see what needs doing now.
This bit of the garden I think we need to really concentrate on, because we haven't really done a lot in here other than planting a few wallflowers, but it just seems to me that we need to
The wallflowers are not looking great,
well,
are they?
Well,
they need water, I think.
Well, I think it is a case of watering. I mean, they were put in and they have been watered, but...
they were bare root, I guess.
Yeah, and the ground is just so dry.
Yeah.
Some of these roses need a bit of treatment as well. I will just worry about...
You can do the roses.
Well, I just worry about things like that, just sort of rocking around in the wind all winter.
Shortening the top growth on hybrid tea and floribunda roses reduces the risk of windrock on the stems, so minimising the risk of physical damage during the winter months. As with any pruning, remove dead and diseased tissue first, and then cut back healthy shoots by up to about 2/3. This rapid pruning technique may look a little unrefined, but the latest rose research reveals that the result is much better plants.
Tell you one of the things I do want to leave, though, is the laburnums. Because, I mean, they're looking pretty manky, but I reckon that we can actually bring these back.
Do you?
I have a feeling that they're self-sets, and I was looking at them earlier in the year, and they're pretty crabby-looking specimens, to be honest. And
They're
I thought,
not
well,
looking great.
No, and the initial thought was, well, just take them out, because they're not really contributing anything. But what I thought I'd do is just have a go at trying to rejuvenate them.
Well, it would be nice walking through here, wouldn't it? If we had a neater sort of dome rather than these scraggy rates.
So rather than just cutting the head off, what I was going to do, there's a dormant bud there, just that slight swelling. And if you just make a cut, just through the bark, just above the bud, it's about 1 inch above the bud.
What does that do then?
Well, what happens is, you know, there's sort of auxin balance in the plant. So the auxins from the top are coming down the stem, saying to this bud, don't bother growing, but the auxins from the root are coming up to this bud saying, grow.
Right.
And that's a very fine balance. And at the moment, the ones coming down saying to this bud, don't grow, are dominant. But if you make a cut just above it, the auxins can't get to that bud, therefore the auxins come up from the root, say to the bud, grow. What you'll get is lots of growth here, and that's manageable growth. I can then start to treat this tree as a sort of coppice.
Fantastic. So then when will you take out the whole bit above it?
Yeah, next spring this bud will swell, it'll shoot, we'll get a shoot coming up. This time next year, cut the head off the plant, and it's still alive and well. So I'll just make one more cut at the back, just above another bud.
Absolutely brilliant.
We'll see how it goes.
And that really won't die back?
No.
Well, that's brilliant.
There you go.
Good tip.
One of the things I keep forgetting to do is to open the glass house.
And I want to put some wood ash on the raspberries as a mulch. I think that'd be a good thing to do.
You can tell it's getting all steamy in there and build up infesting diseases.
And we need to bubble wrap the propagator house, don't we?
Yeah, sure.
And all the French beans, don't you think we should get them in today, or a lot of them, and the runners, and just do you do this thing? I put them on the bench in the glass house or in a sort of sunny porch or whatever, and leave them for a couple of weeks, and then store them for tasty stews in the winter.
No, I've always eaten them fresh.
No, once you've got too many to eat in one go, it's really good. You just dry them off, and they're really good, tasty.
Okay, yeah.
We've got lots of tender plants in our propagation house, and with frost looming, we've got to protect them. Without heating, it's a good idea to double glaze it with bubble wrap. Now, ours is a timber framed house, and so the polythene can be cut to size and held in place with thumbtacks. But if you've got an aluminium house, there are clip systems now available at most good garden centres. Remember to leave access to vents and windows, as during the depths of winter there will be days when ventilation is really needed, and good ventilation is key to a healthy greenhouse.
The propagating house is easy enough to protect in a day because it's nice and small, but this great big greenhouse is a bigger job. We'll have to prepare it for winter, but we'll do that in another programme. If you don't have a greenhouse, climate change means you do have the greenhouse effect. And one of the good things from that is that it's worth trying to grow peaches, nectarines or apricots outside all the year round. And when I was at Wisley, I saw them grown just against our normal garden fence. As long as it's south or west facing, it's certainly worth a try. And if you live in a city where you've got a slightly warmer microclimate and probably a brick wall, then it's definitely something that I would try and do. But don't forget, you'll need some fleece to protect them against frost, particularly when the buds are out in April or May. Now, we've looked at the dry garden, we've looked at soil and how that's affected by climate change, but here's another area. Because rain is a big issue. We're getting these torrential downpours, and if you live in a floodplain, the chances are you've been flooded out. And if you've got poor drainage, then that's going to create puddling in winter. And I remember when Rachel, Chris and I first came to Berryfields last January, we walked down here and there were great puddles running along it. And all of us independently thought, oh my goodness, what are we going to do?
Have you seen the pond? We've already got a pond over here.
That's a puddle, Chris. Yeah, this
is really wet.
This might have some bearing on what we do with it, unless we're going to put drains everywhere.
Well, apples won't like it if it's wet, that's for sure.
It's not wet, it's a bog. And this is really seriously soggy, isn't it?
Okay, so you have a wet bit of ground. So, you know, there are lots of possibilities with that. It doesn't mean to say it's a problem. Now, this is the spot that was so wet last January. And that's the problem we've got to deal with. Ground that is getting saturated in winter and yet drying out completely in summer and becoming rock hard. So whatever we plant has got to be really tough. Now, I've chosen a selection of shrubs, and they're going to do a number of jobs. The first is to screen off the footpath that runs along the boundary of Berryfields and give us a little bit more privacy. The second is to complement these fantastic hornbeams that we've got already there. And thirdly, it will provide a bit of a windbreak. But before I plant them, I need to reconsider the best way to do that in the light of climate change. In fact, this was provoked on my trip to Wisley and what they've discovered from their own experiences there. I gather that your tree planting has been affected by the weather.
It certainly has. 3 years ago we lost about 80 trees due to waterlogging out in the Arboretum. So we're actually learning from problems that we've had.
You've got a big hole here, but it is very wide for a little tree like that.
Well, it's more important for the hole to be wider than it actually is deeper, because most of the tree roots are in the top 12 inches of soil. So digging down can actually cause more problems because you're creating a bigger sump actually underneath the root of the tree. So what we do is get the fork, put it in, and all we do is shake it about. By doing this, it actually improves the drainage, because if you do make the soil too soft underneath, it then settles down and the tree starts to sink.
And what about around the edge? It's pretty solid stuff.
It's very solid, hard. And you know, because of that, the tree roots won't penetrate. So by getting the fork and just ramming it into the side of the hole, it allows the roots to actually penetrate the walls.
And what about adding organic material?
No organic material, because if we did, we'd make it very cosy, and the tree roots would actually just think it's in another big pot, start growing round about, and won't actually move in to the sides of the soil where we want them to go.
So all those years being told to add compost or farmyard manure, actually harming the tree?
You're actually reducing the chance of the tree establishing, yes.
Well, we've got that shallow hole, very, very wide, gently loosened. That goes in at that sort of height?
Well, actually no, because we suffer from waterlogging in the winter months, we actually plant them 2 or 3 inches above the height of the surrounding soil. By planting it proud, it actually improves the winter drainage, helping the tree to establish.
Backfill the hole around the roots just with the soil that you've dug out. Don't add any organic material or feed at all. And then heel it in, circling around the plant, pushing the soil up into a cone. Finally, water it in well. Job done. Now, I have to say, this is a truly radical new approach to tree and shrub planting, and I've never planted them like this before. However, we are going to give it a go here at Berryfields and plant these shrubs like that and see how they get on. We've got dogwoods, elders and a beautiful guelder rose, all of which will live perfectly happily in the wet winter conditions we get under the hornbeams here at Berryfields. First, I've got to get some help and persuade Sarah and Chris that this is a good idea.
Okay. First of all, take your turf off on a really wide hole. Looking at sort of a 4 metre across. Just take out a bit of that soil. Down to a depth of about a split.
Am I allowed to dig over at the bottom?
No. No digging over.
So what do I do next?
All you have to do now is just like that. Like aerating a lawn. We're going to plant so that...
Now, I know there are people who will say that they've been planting by the conventional method for many years with great success. But remember, this new way of planting trees and shrubs is a direct response to climate change.
It does look very peculiar.
Is it disturbing you?
It's just one of those things that it does go against everything
I know.
you've ever been taught and ever seen anyone else do. You're going to tell me I've done mine wrong now?
No, it's fine.
But I'm worried about the ring.
The soil's got to go up to that.
Oh, okay.
So it wants to sit genuinely on a cone.
Okay.
Like a volcano with a little crater.
Because it looks like a badly planted house plant at the moment.
And of course we'll mulch this. So any organic matter goes on top.
Right.
And will work its way in to the top layer.
I understand the organic matter not going in the bottom because that's going to cause slumping as it rots away.
Yeah.
Why not put something like a bone meal in the bottom to help encourage the roots down into the soil?
I think the thinking, and I say I think because this is not a technique that I've become familiar with, is that the sooner the roots get out into the soil, the better the tree or shrub will be.
So it's outside of the hole that we've
Exactly.
just dug. Right.
The hole you've dug is simply to provide a root run and to get familiar, because it's anything that encourages it to stay in the area that you've planted it in is going to work against it.
Okay.
But so really, my roots like that, they're all right, are they?
No, because you're going to mulch them over the top.
Well, I know, but they look so bare.
Well, they won't do when the mulch is on.
Okay.
So how much mulch are you putting on? Just about?
A good layer. Generous with the mulch. Okay, that's 3. There's more, because you're not familiar. We've chosen shrubs that will create the screen that we want, and they'll also add a touch of colour to the garden. Sambucus nigra guincho purple is a variation of the common elder and shares its toughness. It has purple leaves in summer, which turn a tawny colour in autumn, but it retains brilliant crimson stalks. The variegated elder Sambucus nigra aurea marginata has leaves which are edged with ivory. Now this is a good, compact plant, but one thing you need to watch for is that if it's in too much shade, the variegation will diminish.
The Guelder rose, or Viburnum opulus, must surely be one of our most wonderful native shrubs. At this time of the year, it lights up the hedgerows with deep red foliage and succulent scarlet berries. But don't be fooled into thinking this is just an autumn performer, because come next May, it'll be cascading with white blooms.
Cornus alba elegantissima is one of my favourite shrubs. I really love the red stems in contrast to the white on the edge of the leaves, and they gradually turn a beautiful reddish colour to match the stems in the autumn, and then everything drops and you're left with this fantastic crimson skeleton. Cornus alba aurea is another lovely plant with red stems and golden leaves. That's what aurea means. And then in the autumn it has white berries which have a beautiful wash of blue.